Trust your intuition. Once you finish this video, you're going to have the knowledge to understand what intuition is and isn't specifically to you. While you might have friends or family giving advice, and they probably mean well, don't get me wrong, it is likely that what works for them doesn't necessarily mean it will work for you. This is why today we're going on a self-discovery journey to understand what works for you and connect you with your own intuition. In order to do this, we'll be using a little bit of human design, which is a system that combines astrology, the chakra system, I Ching, Kabbalah, and quantum physics. The idea is that we are born with a certain design, hence the name, that contains all the information to live in alignment with what we decided to be, even before we were born. Human design can help understand and get to know ourselves to make the best decisions and letting go of limiting beliefs or conditionings. If this is your first time dealing with human design, don't get overwhelmed. Today we're going to go through a couple of the basics that will help you tremendously to connect with your intuition. If you don't have your chart yet, you can literally Google human design chart and find tons of free and paid websites. But I recommend the Jovian System Archive, as it doesn't ask for you for an email and it gives you the chart right away. The link is in the description, and I'm sorry if I said the name wrong. Now you'll get something like this. For the moment, don't pay attention to the chart itself, but to the information here on the right. You're going to look for your type and inner authority. Each type has a self and not self theme. This will help you understand when you're living in alignment or if you're not being true to yourself. This will be the first clue towards your own intuition. When you're unsure of what you're doing, take a second to feel. Frustration, satisfaction, anger, bitterness, disappointment. For generators, the not self theme is frustration, and the signature is satisfaction. So notice what are the things that actually make you feel satisfied versus the one that just frustrate you. And it might be just like, right now I can do this, but come back later, or change the approach. For manifestors, the not self theme is anger, and the signature or the self theme is peace. It can be a very bit of anger, like starting to feel irritated, upset, resent someone, or just plain rage outbursts. Maybe you're trying to control too much with what happens around you. Maybe you weren't clear with your intentions, and now things are not turning out as you thought. Manifesting generators have a mix of the generators and manifestors. So whenever they feel anger and frustration, they're out of alignment. And whenever they feel a mix of satisfaction and peace, they're right on track. For projectors, the not self theme is bitterness, and the signature is success. This wise type here is here to guide us, the rest of us. But here's the thing, projectors have to wait for an invitation. So one common mistake would be for them to try and share wisdom, different or more efficient ways to do things. But since nobody asked them, they can feel underappreciated, leading to the not self theme of bitterness. For reflectors, the not self theme is disappointment, and the signature is surprise. We've all felt disappointed at some point of our lives, and it actually can be narrowed down to either rushing when taking a decision or feeling pressured by others. The way for reflectors to avoid it is to wait. Just take your time, and instead feel satisfyingly surprised with whatever choice you make or life has ahead of you. Once you understand your signature and your not self theme, it is way easier to know when something is asking you to keep going and when something is asking you to stop and refrain. Now, let's take a look at the inner authority to learn how to make decisions. So it is important to understand all of your inner authorities. For example, I'm an emotional generator, which means that I have my inner authority, the principal, the main one, is the emotional, and I have to wait to make decisions. But for things that have to be quick, I do still have my sacral authority, which means that I can use my gut response. So check all of the authorities that you have, and you're gonna notice by the centers that you have activated, and you can use whichever you need at the time, just depending on what you need. Obviously, always listen to the first one first, but if you need like a second opinion, you can check them out. So emotional authority, it is the most common. Let me say like 50% of the population has this authority in the human design chart. This is actually a superpower in how we process emotions, because as I told you, I am an emotional authority too. I can feel the highs and lows. We go through emotional waves, and these emotional waves are what helps us to come to the other side with the clarity and the right decision. So when it is an aligned decision, after we go through the emotional wave, right, in the ups and downs, we reach a clarity state. And this is the state that we actually need to be in order to make the decision. The common mistake that we usually do is making decisions, especially big ones, when we are in an emotional wave. If we are either in a high or a low, we're gonna be actually making a decision that is purely emotional, and we actually have to wait for us to be neutral. This actually happens to me pretty commonly when I make plans, like to go with friends to go out. Like at the moment, I'm super excited and I say yes, but then at the moment of the truth, when I actually have to go out, I'm like, maybe it wasn't the best decision. For the Sacral Authority, those people with Sacral Authority have a generator or a manifesting generator. However, not everyone has a sacral authority. Like me, for example, I am an emotional. But every generator and manifestor does at least have their sacral center defined. And it is a superpower because it's where the creative life force energy comes, especially when it's channeled in the right ways. The authority, it feels like a God response or something that speaks to you in plain, simple yes and no's. So when the decision is aligned, it feels like a hell yes in the God, and you can just continue with the day with that hell yes. A common mistake is just to be overwhelmed with a lot of possible different options. The advice here is just to narrow it down to yes or no questions. Just yes or no, and you're gonna feel it immediately. There is this, I for the love of God, don't know what is this from com or sitcom or whatever firm saw it, that they made decisions by flipping a coin. And the funny part is that the decision isn't made by the coin, it is made because once that you flip the coin and it arrives, if it falls in the decision that you actually wanted to make, you're happy. And if it falls in the other on the other face, then you're a little bit disappointed. Like deep inside, you know there's something's wrong. And it is like that for the gut response. It is something immediate. It is anything after that first response is the mind. So keep it simple. If you do the toss coin thing, just let me know in the comments how it goes. But it usually works for myself. I try with my partner too. He's usually like, ask me if I want to do this or that, or ask me if I want to do this, and then the only responses are yes or no. It is usually very, very simple. And if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. Splenic authorities. The superpower is an innate knowing that comes through. It's just like clarinolence, I think. I'm going to spell it somewhere in the description. It's a power that it cannot really be explained. You just know something and it arrives. You might not know why you know it or why or where this knowledge came from. So when you just know that something is right, even if you cannot explain it, like really don't try to look for a logical explanation. Just trust that it's the right decision, just what feels good for you. A little bit as the sacral authority, anything that comes after this first response is the mind. So if something comes to you and you just know that this is the way that you want to go, don't second guess it. Just go right ahead with the most with the first knowledge, with the first reaction that you have. Anything that comes after is not going to be aligned, and it's actually going to make you create a mistake or go into a decision that is not actually in your true self. Ego authority. The superpower of the ego authority is the connection with the desires. You can tap into what those desires are and how to create them with a level of commitment that is unmatched. Your connection to your desires inspires and actually activates others. Your decision is aligned if it is something that you truly desire, or if it helps you in the journey of actually getting what you truly desire. That's how you know if it's an aligned decision for you. A common mistake is that it comes with a bit of shame, that you feel selfish, that you feel like your own desires are stepping into, like you should be, and this is the what you should avoid. You feel like you should be doing something else, it likely is a mistake. You need to go ahead and do what is good for you, what aligns to your desire. Just own it. Understand that this is your human design and there's no shame on that. And again, as I started saying in this video, maybe the should be doing might be aligned for another kind of authorities, but for yours, you have to accept that whatever it is that you want, and if you put yourself first and your desires first, this is when you're actually aligned. So, no shame on that. Now, the self projected authority. These people have the G center as their authority. With this authority, your superpower is cultivating a powerful identity that you blossom into and seeing yourself as the best and highest version of yourself and creating this reality around from you from this place. You will recognize when your decisions are aligned if you identify that you're cultivating and creating versus if it aligns with an older or not updated version of yourself. Are you the type of person that actually does this, whatever decision it is? Here, the most common mistake is to do something because it is what others want of you. It is what you see others doing. You're constantly updating yourself. Like the whole thing behind this self-projected authority is you being you. And we're always changing and we're always updating ourselves. So if you start serving to an older version of yourself, and if you start surrounding yourself with people that are not up to date with that new version, then they are stopping you. And this is likely just blocking your decisions and guiding you to make decisions that are not aligned. So the true power here is to stand with yourself and understand that this is something that you for yourself want. This is something that is not extrinsically motivated. This is something that you actually want to do for yourself that is going to serve for this new identity that you are cultivating for yourself. It is not something old. It is not something that somebody else wants for yourself. You have to be fully aware and understand that this is something that you want to do for yourself. Environmental and sounding board authority. So here the superpower is that you can use your environment to help you make the correct decision for you. By putting yourself in a certain place that allows you to process the decision either in the right environment or with people that you trust that allow you to talk it out, you will guide yourself in the right direction. Your aligned decision can come with what feels right for you, but after allowing yourself to process it in a safe environment. And sometimes this can take time. The common mistake to avoid is that it is important that your decisions come from your own timing. Don't let anybody rush you. You process things verbally, so you need to get it out of you and out of your head. It is important to find people that you trust that can ask important questions that help you to come to the decision, but also neutral enough that they are not going to guide you into something that they want, but actually just help you talk it out first in order to understand what is going on. As the emotional authority, just take your time. Don't feel pressured. Don't feel peer pressured even. And it can be as simple as waiting for being in the right place, for waiting to be with the right people. Maybe you don't necessarily need to wait a day, 2 days, a week. Maybe it's just about to take just 1 hour to find this clear space where you feel safe, where you feel grounded, and just finding these people that you trust. It's less important what they tell you, it's more important that you take out. It happens a lot, and this doesn't even have to be an authority, but it happens a lot that when you talk out whatever it is that is happening, it is clearer to you. So it's easier to pursue whatever it is, to process whatever it is that you are understanding. Lunar Authority. This is for here my peers that have no authorities. If this is happening to you, you are a reflector. And the superpower is to allow the external environment, the cosmic energies, the universe, to allow you to experience all the possible outcomes, a little bit like like Doctor Strange. So you can understand what is the best decision for you. Your aligned decision happens when you experience different cycles and shifts of energy. So imagine all of the possible decisions and outcomes, even if it is in the course of a week, a month. You know with clarity and certainty which road you like to travel down for. So the common mistake here is to don't take the time and energy to experience all the possible outcomes. Now, I know that you might not be able to wait months or weeks for a decision, which is okay because not all the decisions need to have these bigger outcomes. To choose an ice cream, you're not gonna wait a whole lunar cycle, right? But for bigger decisions, it is super important that you don't feel rushed, that you take your time, that you truly experience all these outcomes. Again, I just keep picturing Doctor Strange, like seeing how many universes, seeing all the possibilities, where it works, where what works. And this is something important for you. So if you don't have the actual time to wait, just try and experience as many outcomes as you can, because this is the magic, and this is when it is aligned. When you understand all of the outcomes that happen and which one is the best, which one is the most effective, which ones resonates better for you. I really hope that now that you understand all of this emotional authorities, all of your self themes and not self themes. Again, this is just a fraction of what human design is, right? This is just like something that we can see from the bare surface, but it's something that has helped me a lot, and I hope that it helps you too. It helps me do more aligned responses. Again, I am a generator, so now even my partner sometimes sees it like, you're frustrated. You need to stop that. And again, it doesn't mean to stop anything forever. It might mean just to come back with a different eyes, come back tomorrow, come back in a week and do the stuff differently. And this intuition is actually something that has helped me manifest a lot of things, because I understand what are my inspired actions, what it is aligned with myself, what is not aligned, when it is not aligned. And just a big shout out if you want to understand and how to use your intuition in more depth, how to use your human design gifts in more depth in order to manifest the life that you want. My mentorship for a 12-week course of understanding how to manifest the life of your dreams are over right now, so you can apply. Just a disclaimer, this is only for people that are 100% committed, that look for opportunities, that are not looking for excuses. There's plenty of people out there just making excuses. But if you want to learn how to tap better into your intuition and manifest the life of your dreams, this is your goal to apply. You can also use your intuition to understand your purpose and your wealth. You can understand it by using astrology, and I do recommend this video if that's what you want to do. If you haven't did and you like this video, please like and subscribe. And thank you so much for being here. I hope this helps you. Write for me in the comments what helped you the most, or if you have any comments or doubts. Ciao.